Good morning to all the students. Today we are here again to discuss reflection of light. Myself Amruta Dhadge from Kher Nagar English Medium School. So let's start with our today's remaining concepts of reflection of light. So every day we are going through these types, mirrors and types of mirrors, as they are the basic requirements for our reflection of light. Without mirrors, reflection cannot be studied. So mirrors are essential and important part of our topic. After that, we have seen spherical mirrors. In this, we have seen both the mirrors, that is concave and convex, images formed by them, magnification due to spherical mirrors. Okay, so let's start. Today I will be covering all the basic points. So it will be a revision for you, as well as we will solve some numericals, so that this lesson will be covered very well from all aspects, from all point of view, so that you people can just go through the lesson, read the lines and get the concept done. Nature of light. Okay, light is essential for reflection. Without light and mirrors, reflection cannot take place. So what is this nature of light? A form of energy which enables us to see. Yes, without light we cannot see. So it is a form of energy which enables us to see. It travels in straight line. It travels at a very high speed, and the speed is 3.0 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second in vacuum. It is emitted by luminous sources such as sun, stars, candles, lamps, etc. So these all are sources of light. So what is nature of light? What light consists of? White light is a mixture of 7 different colors, namely red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Light is a transverse wave and forms part of the electromagnetic spectrum. So what are the sources of light? All objects that we see are sources of light, even if they do not produce light themselves. Objects that produce light are said to be luminous. Sun, burning candle, light, bulb, flash of lightning. These all are the luminous sources of light. Artificial sources of light are those that are produced and controlled by humans. Okay, you have seen those neon light boards, sign boards, which we see while traveling on the roads. Okay, which are sometimes indicators, sometimes it displays an advertisement. Okay, so these type of neon lights we use. Car headlights, neon signs, flashlights, television are all artificial sources of light. Okay, so some sources of light such as burning wood may be classified as both natural and artificial. After studying what is light, the second essential requirement for reflection to take place is mirrors. Okay, so what are mirrors? We are repeating some things again and again, so that when stressed on these lines, you people will remember it lifelong, as these are the basic requirements to study reflection. We need polished surfaces for reflecting light. This is because polished surfaces absorb less light, and so maximum light gets emitted. Black substances absorb more light, whereas white substances absorb less light. You can observe this in your day-to-day life. Your mirror is also of white color. Okay, so it absorbs less light. The glasses of windows, they are transparent. They are white in color. Okay, so they absorb less light, whereas black substances absorb more light. In scientific language, a surface which reflects light and creates clear images is called a mirror. Okay, so these are the mirrors which we use every day at our homes. This is the basic classification types of mirrors. So first one is the plane mirror. Second one is the spherical mirror. Plane mirrors are the mirrors which we use at home. You can see the identical images which you can see in the picture. That is your image and you are identical inside the mirror. Now what are concave and convex mirror? Again go through the shaded region. The shaded portion depicts the reflecting surface, and depending on the reflecting surface, we have classified these mirrors into two types, concave and convex. Okay, the shaded region, when it is inside the curve, it is called as concave mirror. When it is outside the curve, it is called as convex mirror. Now this is the famous example for concave mirror. You can see the spherical shape of the solar furnace. Okay, it is curved inside. All the glasses are placed inside the curve. So the inner surface of the spherical mirror is the reflecting surface. Then it is called concave mirror. So solar furnace which uses concave mirror. Convex mirror. The outer surface of the mirror is the reflecting surface. Then it is called convex mirror. Side mirror of a vehicle, example of a convex mirror. Okay, now this is a small example which you can see at your home also. You can see the spoon, okay, when it is observed inside, okay, the curved surface of the spoon, it depicts concave, whereas the outer curved surface can be called as convex mirror. See this example, as well as you can take the spoon at your home and you can see that the curved surface, the inner curved surface, you can call it as concave, whereas the outer surface, you can call it as convex mirror. Now these are uses of convex lenses and uses of concave mirrors in the lenses. So whatever magnifying glass you are using, convex lens, which converge all the rays together, so that the after taking the magnifying glass inside the sun and keeping a paper beneath the magnifying glass causes the paper to burn. Microscope. Inside the microscope, we can observe all minute things because all the rays are converged and the minute details of any bacteria, fungus, nuclei can be observed. Now these spy holes are located on the doors, okay? Now how we use spy holes? We have a look, okay, far more look. We can observe a distance from your door, how many people are standing beyond the door. Okay, so you can use these spy holes. Flashlight also gives us a broader view. When we on flashlight, it makes us visible, a greater distance, broader view. Just try to remember these two things with the examples with some specific words, okay, so that you can make a difference between this convex and concave, and this will make you to remember the things very properly. Okay, then we have studied how the images are formed in the mirror. This is just that the light travels in all directions. It travels in a straight line. We have studied the incident ray and the reflected ray both lie on the same ray. Now, what is the object? A point is an object. A small point is the object. Okay, so you can see no object is placed in front of the mirror as they have considered a point source. Okay, the image is formed by a point source. Just draw these diagrams very properly. Okay, show the plane mirror by the tilted lines on one side, the incident ray and the reflected ray by the arrows. Everything should be written. The diagram naming should be given very properly. After observing this point source, we have seen this to study virtual image. You can see the object O, the reflected rays, the incident rays AB, OA and OB. You can see that they get reflected AX and BY. Okay, these two reflected rays are extended beyond the screen to get an image I. You have studied that the incident ray, the reflected ray lie on the same plane and the normal lie on the same plane. The incident ray and the incident angle and the reflected angle both are same. Both are equal. This was the formation of a object. Okay, we have taken 4 different points of the object. You can see that the virtual image form is equidistant from the mirror. The distance from the object to the mirror and from the mirror to the image, both the distances are same. Then we have studied lateral inversion. We have seen the famous example ambulance, which is written on the ambulance. Okay, they use this lateral inversion on it. This is the example. This was another example which need to be remembered. When you raise right hand in front of the mirror, it seems in the image that you have raised your left hand. This was a very important statement. In order to see full image of a person standing in front of the mirror, the minimum height of the mirror must be half the height of the person. Then we went through terms related to spherical mirrors, which are center of curvature, radius of curvature, pole of the mirror, principal focus. Then we have seen this important concept, how to draw this diagram. Just draw a single line. Place your scale at C and see that the distance between CF and FP is same. Then these 3 important rules. Rule 1 was ray of light which is parallel to the principal axis after reflection passes through the focus. Okay. CFP are the points. This is the spherical mirror given. You can see the incident ray by observing the arrow. Okay, if the arrow is towards the spherical mirror, it is the incident ray. When the arrow is from the spherical mirror to the outer surface, it is reflected ray. So whenever an incident ray is parallel to the principal axis, reflection ray passes through the focus. Okay. When the ray of light passing through the center of curvature is reflected back along the same path. Okay, when the incident ray is from the C itself, okay, it passes through the C, that is center of curvature. So the reflection ray is also on the same path. Ray of light passing through the focus after reflection becomes parallel to the principal axis. Okay, this is the vice versa of rule 1. These are the cases which we have studied. Just go through the diagrams. Take a screenshot if it required. Okay, so that you will be able to remember all the positions very properly. When the object is placed beyond center of curvature, the image is in between center of curvature and focus, that is F. A, B is the object, A dash, B dash is the image. Observe the two rules. Incident ray parallel to the principal axis, reflected ray passes through the focus. And when the incident ray passes through the center of curvature, the reflected ray traverse the same path. Okay, these two rules we have used. When the image is when the object is at center of curvature, the image is just inverted, but it is at the same place, that is of center of curvature. This was when the object is placed between center of curvature and focus. The image is beyond center of curvature, which is real and inverted, magnified. When the object is at focus, you can't get a point where the reflected rays intersect each other. They remain parallel, so the image will be formed at infinity. Object is between F and P, focus and pole. You get a virtual and erect magnified image. So these were the all 6 cases which we have studied. These are the important cases. Then we had seen convergence and divergence. Convergence is collecting all the reflected rays at a single point, and divergence is spreading them in the atmosphere. Just remember this. Convergence means making them together at a single point, collecting all the rays at a single point. Okay, so example of convergence was the ENT specialist, which uses a beam of light to observe your tooth, ear, nose. And what is for divergence? Street lamp. Just remember these examples, draw these diagrams again and again so that you will get through this topic. Now, what are the uses of concave mirrors? Barber shop, dental hospital. If the object is placed between the pole and the focus of the mirror, an erect, virtual and magnified image is obtained. Torch and headlamp of vehicles. The source of light is kept at the focus of the mirror, thus a parallel beam of light is obtained. Floodlights. The sources of light is placed a little beyond the center of curvature of the mirror. This gives a bright beam of light. Various equipment using solar energy, sun rays reflected by a concave mirror come together in the focal plane. Okay, so these are all the examples of concave mirror. Just write the difference between concave mirror and convex mirror, and also write all the uses, all the examples, which will help you to remember both the things very properly without any confusion. Uses of convex mirrors. Mirrors on the side of car are convex mirrors. Big convex mirrors are fitted at the gate and in square. To get a long distance view, these are fitted at the gate or in a square. Now, we have studied images formed by concave mirror. Now we are going to see image formed by a convex mirror. You can see those small tilted lines, okay? that makes difference of concave mirror and convex mirror. You can see that at the outermost part, the incident ray is lying and the place of CFP is changed. We used to draw CFP, that is center of curvature, focus and pole, at our right hand side for convex mirror. Just observe the diagram. MN is the convex mirror. See, its outer part is the reflecting part on which all the rays are lying. Object AB is placed in front of the mirror, convex mirror, MN. Incident rays AQ starting from A and traveling parallel to the axis. Okay, AQ is shown by the blue line. And AR going towards the center of curvature are shown. How these get reflected and form the image A dash B dash can be understood from the figure. It is clear that the image is smaller than the object behind the mirror and erect. As the reflected rays do not actually cross one another, the image is a virtual image. Okay, as the reflected rays, they do not intersect each other. They do not cross each other. We are drawing dotted lines, that is extended lines. We are making them to cross, and wherever they intersect, we form our image. Okay, so that image is called as virtual image. The nature of the image formed by a convex mirror does not depend on the distance of the object from the mirror. Okay, so here these things get changed, that the nature of the image formed by a convex mirror does not depend on the distance of the object from the mirror. These images are always virtual, smaller than the object and situated behind the mirror. Yes, as it is virtual, it will be always behind the mirror. As we see in the plane mirror, we observe that the images are forming behind the mirror. Someone is standing behind the mirror. Okay, so same in the convex mirror, we are also going to get such view that the object is behind the mirror. Draw this diagram. See the difference between concave mirror diagram and convex mirror diagram. This is your textbook diagram itself. Go through it. Now we are going to see Cartesian sign conventions. These Cartesian sign conventions are same as your coordinate XY axis bar graph diagram. Okay, whatever poles we plot for X axis and Y axis in maths, same you can see that those sign conventions are same here, but just you have to observe what these sign conventions mean for mirrors, for images. Okay. So we have studied that X-axis, Y-axis, the right-hand side of the X-axis is always positive, left is negative, the upper part of the Y-axis is positive, whereas the part downwards of the X-axis situated on Y, all are negative, and the intersection point is 0. Okay. So if you know these things, let's move on and see what these Cartesian sign conventions mean for mirrors. So according to the Cartesian sign conventions, the pole of the mirror is taken as the origin. So P, the pole of the mirror, is taken at origin, which will have 0 placed over there. The principal axis is taken as the x-axis of the frame of reference, and the sign conventions are as follows. The object is always kept on the left of the mirror. All distances parallel to the principal axis are measured from the pole of the mirror. Okay, so the object will always be placed at the left of the mirror. All distances parallel to the principal axis are measured from the pole of the mirror, that is P, wherever the XY axis intersect. All distances measured towards the right of the mirror are taken to be positive. Okay, so whatever you have taken on the right hand side, you can see distances on the right, arrow is given, and below that positive plus sign is given. So all distances are taken positive, while those measured towards the left are taken to be negative. Yes, same as XY coordinate axis with whatever we draw in our maths. Distances measured vertically upwards from the principal axis are taken to be positive. Okay, so upward whatever will be there on the y-axis, all the plotting points will be positive. Distances measured vertically downwards from the principal axis are taken to be negative. Now the focal length of a concave mirror is negative, while that of the convex mirror is positive. This fifth point is very important from the numerical solving point of view. While solving those numerical examples, we have to consider this point and we have to change the sign of our length, of our focal length, which we get by solving the question. Okay, so please remember this fifth point. The focal length of a concave mirror is negative, while that of a convex mirror is positive. So these are the formulas which are required for solving numericals. So let's go to the mirror formula, which is a very easy formula. We get the correct values of distances by using Cartesian sign conventions. Okay, so to get the correct value, we have to use Cartesian sign convention. The object distance mu is the distance of the object from the pole, while the image distance v is the distance of the image from the pole. The relationship between the object distance, image distance, and the focal length f is called mirror formula. Okay, so what is the mirror formula? 1 divided by v plus 1 divided by u is equals to 1 upon f. Now, while solving these examples, you have to follow all the rules. That is, the denominator should be same. Okay, the value of the denominators, you have to make them same, then you can add the numerators. Okay, so this formula is valid for all spherical mirrors for all position of objects under all circumstances. Very easy formula, basic formula. Just you people need to know how to solve these fractions, how to add two fractions. After that, this is the magnification due to spherical mirrors. Now the magnification due to spherical mirror is given by the ratio of the height of the image h2. Okay, so h2 will be the height of the image and h1 will be the height of the object. h1 will be the height of the object. This tells us how large the image is as compared to the object. Magnification m equals to height of the image divided by height of the object. So first we have to take h2 in the numerator and h1 in the denominator, as h2 is the height of the image, whereas h1 is the height of the object. From this, it can be shown that capital M, that is magnification, equals to minus b upon u, because the image is placed at left side. So it gets negative sign according to Cartesian sign convention. It is given below. See, as the object is always kept above the principal axis, its height is always taken to be positive. For virtual images, the height is positive, while for real images, it is negative. As the object is kept on the left of the mirror, its distance u is always negative. Just remember this. According to the sign convention, what we get that the u is always negative. So this negative sign is there. M equals to minus b upon u. Now this is a numerical example. First, go through these numericals 2 times. Read the given question 2 times. What is given? Rajeshri wants to get an inverted image of height 5 centimeter of an object kept at a distance of 30 centimeter from a concave mirror. From a concave mirror. The focal length of the mirror is 10 centimeter. At what distance from the mirror should she place the screen? What will be the type of the image and what is the height of the object? Okay, so what all things are given to us? What Rajeshri wants? She wants an inverted image of height 5 centimeter. Okay, so image height, so it will be H2 5 centimeter of an object kept at a distance of 30 centimeter from a concave mirror. Okay, so the object distance is 30 centimeter, which is small u. The focal length of the mirror is 10 centimeter. Focal length is denoted by small f, which is 10 centimeter. Okay, so at what distance from the mirror should she place the screen and what type of image and what is the height of the object? Okay, so focal length f is minus 10 centimeter. Object distance u is minus 30 centimeter. Height of the image h2 equals to minus 5 centimeter. Image distance is the v, which we have to find. Height of the object is h1. So why these minus signs are there? These minus signs are there according to Cartesian sign conventions. Okay, so first we are going to use the mirror formula, which is 1 upon v plus 1 upon u equals to 1 upon f. Okay, so what we have to find? We have to find 1 upon v. So just keep it on the left hand side, else all things you will transfer to right hand side. The signs get changed. 1 upon f minus 1 upon u. 1 upon v equals to 1 upon minus 10 minus 1 upon minus 30. Okay, so you have to make the denominator same. So you can multiply to the first fraction by 3. So it will be minus 3 plus 1 divided by 30. Again subtracting the numerators, minus plus minus, sign of greater number, which is minus 2 upon 30. 1 upon v equals to minus 2 upon 30. So 1 upon v equals to 1 upon minus 15 centimeters. So v is equals to minus 15. Okay, so what for magnification? As we have to find h1, we have to use this formula for magnification. Now we know h2. So we will go through it. M equals to h2 upon h1 equals to minus v upon u. So we have to find h1. Just keep h1 on one side. Rest all things will be transferred to the right side. Unknown on left side. h1 equals to, substitute the value of u, h2 and v. Multiply it. See the sign changes. Minus minus becomes plus. They have undergone a simple simplification. 15 ones are 15, 15 twos are 30. So minus 2 and minus 5 they have multiplied. We get the value 10. Minus minus becomes plus. So h1 equals to 10 centimeter. The height of the object is 10 centimeter. Thus the image will be real and diminished. Rajeshri has to place the screen 15 centimeter to the left of the mirror. Why? You can write it specifically left of the mirror. Minus sign indicates that she has to place the object towards the left of the mirror. So this is the use of Cartesian sign conventions. The sign conventions tell us exactly on which side the object and the image is placed. We will see one example. A 10 centimeter long stick is kept in front of the concave mirror having focal length of 10 centimeter in such a way that the end of the stick closest to the pole is at the distance of 20 centimeter, what will be the length of the image? Okay, I have tried to show its pictorial representation of this given numerical word problem. Now we are using concave mirror over here. Focal length is f equals to 10 centimeter. Stick is closest to the pole at the distance of 20 centimeter. So u is 20 centimeter. We have to find the length of the image. H1 equals to f equals to 10 centimeter, which is focal length. Object size H1 equals to 10 centimeter. Object distance u equals to 20 centimeter. To find length of the image H2. Okay, so formula. First we are going to use mirror formula. 1 upon v plus 1 upon u equals to 1 upon f. And then we are going to use magnification formula. So let's go. Just substitute the values. I have substituted the values in the mirror formula. Minus 1 upon 20 plus 1 upon v equals to minus 1 upon 10. 1 upon 20. It is minus on this side. When it goes towards your right side, it becomes positive. So 1 upon v equals to 1 upon 20 minus 1 upon 10. Just make the denominator same and follow the signs for the numerators and do the required operation. So 1 upon v equals to minus 1 upon 20. V equals to minus 20 centimeter. H2 upon H1 equals to minus V upon U. This is magnification formula. Substitute all the values. What you have to find H2. So H2 equals to minus 20 upon minus 20. Okay, and this 10, it is in the denominator, it will multiply. So as minus 20 gets cancelled, only minus 10 is remaining. So H2 equals to minus 10 centimeter. So the height or length of the image is 10 centimeter. A second question, a convex mirror of focal length of 18 centimeter. The image of an object is kept in front of the mirror is half the height of the object. What is the distance of the object from the mirror? You can see that the object is placed AB and its image is A dash B dash. Focal length F equals to 18 centimeter. Image size H2 equals to 1 upon 2. Object size H1. So H2 equals to 1 upon 2 of H1. As they have given that the image of an object kept in front of the mirror is half the height of the object. To find object distance U, first we are going to use the mirror formula and then magnification formula. Here, as the equation is given to us that H2 is equals to half of H1. Okay, we are going to solve this. We are going to make use of this equation. So H2 upon H1 equals to 1 upon 2. So what is H2 upon H1? H2 upon H1 is nothing but minus V upon U. So I have just replaced H2 upon H1 by minus V upon U. Okay, so minus V upon U is equal to half. So this is also one equation where V is equal to minus U upon 2. Okay, this is the first required equation which we get from the given things. So after using them in the mirror formula, 1 upon V plus 1 upon U is equal to 1 upon F. So what I can write in place of V, I can write minus U upon 2. But as the V is in denominator, I have to change the numerator and denominator. Okay, I'll write its inverse. So I have replaced 1 upon V by minus 2 upon U plus 1 upon U equals to 1 upon F. Now you can see that the denominators are same. It is U at both the places. So I can add the numerators. So minus 2 plus 1 becomes minus 1 upon U, which is equals to minus 1 upon 18. So U equals to 18 centimeter. As minus sign is placed on both the sides of the equation, they get cancelled. So U equals to 18 centimeter. The distance of the object is 18 centimeter. That is, it is kept on the focus. The numericals for this chapter are easy. If you go through the formulas, okay, read the numerical sums 2 times, try to understand what is given, see the Cartesian sign conventions very properly, follow the rules so that it will be easy for you to understand the numerical problems and solve them easily. This lesson is all about mirrors, reflection. So go through them very properly. Try to draw the diagrams and then see the concept. Observe the incident ray, reflected ray, so that you people will understand the positions and the properties of the images. I hope you people must have understood it, enjoyed the journey of reflection of light. Okay, go through the textbook lines, go through all the diagrams. They will help you to get through the concept. And here we end for today.